Hi, everyone. Welcome to our second Parent Props Reflection. Today's reflection is called Easter Living, Recognizing Jesus. One of my favorite accounts in the New Testament is often subtitled The Walk to Emmaus, and it's found in Luke chapter 24, verses 13 through 43. If you're not familiar with it, I encourage you to take a few minutes and read it for yourself or with your family. It's great. The account takes place on what we now call Easter Sunday. Jesus has risen, but none of his disciples have seen him yet. In a nutshell, two disciples of Jesus, who were not part of the inner group, were walking to a village of Emmaus, several miles away from Jerusalem. They were discussing everything that had happened over the past few days, grieving, and trying to make sense of who they thought Jesus was, all that he had done, all that they had hoped, and the tragic way that things had ended with his crucifixion. And as they're walking along, they're joined by a man they don't recognize who asks them what they're talking about, and they fill him in. They share all that's on their hearts about Jesus. And after listening, the stranger, who's actually Jesus himself, begins to reteach them about the Messiah the scriptures actually foretold, one who would have to suffer and die before entering glory. In other words, everything had happened exactly as it was supposed to. Now, the two disciples invite Jesus to eat with them, and he agrees. And when they sit down together, he takes bread, blesses it, and gives it to them. And it's at that moment that the disciples recognize it's Jesus with them. And as soon as they recognize him, Jesus disappears from their presence. And so these two immediately return to Jerusalem to share their experience with the others. While they're telling the others, Jesus is suddenly standing there among them. And the disciples' initial reactions to Jesus are a mix of fear, doubt, joy, and wonder. He talks with them, he assures them, and then he eats with them and opens their minds to understand the scriptures. Part of what I love about this account is that the resurrected Jesus shows up in the midst of very ordinary things: a walk, a conversation, a meal, and a group of friends. The Son of God, worthy of all glory and honor, who just defeated death and has literally changed the course of history, does not appear to his disciples with a triumphant parade and heavenly fanfare. There's no exotic destination gathering for his followers, no grand feast to celebrate what has come to pass. He shows up in a walk, a conversation, a meal, and to a group of imperfect friends. In a culture that often encourages us to go big or go home and lures us to believe that if only, fill in the blank, then things would be perfect, I find this account comforting and hopeful. And in the daily joys and challenges of parenting, I find this truth especially helpful. Jesus delights to show up and to be recognized by his disciples, us, in the midst of everyday, ordinary stuff. Just like the two disciples on the road to Emmaus, though, our own expectations of how and when he shows up can actually hinder us from recognizing his presence with us. He's not waiting for our homes to be spotless, or our finances to be sorted out, or for our children to be perfectly behaved, or for our grocery shopping to be done. He's actually here with us and our families in the messiness of our homes, the realities of our budgets and financial concerns, in the behavior challenges we face with our children, and in the midst of the errands we have to run. He doesn't wait for things to be perfect. Rather, he's present in each moment if we would prayerfully recognize his presence. All that is needed are open eyes and an open heart. So that's my hope and prayer for all of us this week, that God will give us the eyes to see and the heart to recognize Jesus with us in our everyday, ordinary stuff of family life. He loves us as we are, and delights to be walking this journey with us. God bless you.